If you've been shooting in the shadow and the sun pops out all of a sudden, do you immediately know what settings to quickly change in order to get the same or similar exposure you were moments before? Or do you have to stop and think about it in the moment? Oh, missed the shot.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Photography Radio. My name is Tomasz, and today you are listening to The Woo with Karen Hutton, where she muses up a tasty blend of inspiration, photography, and life. Enjoy.
Can you imagine your life without photography? No? Then you will love this show. And it doesn't matter if you're a DSLR, a mirrorless, or a mobile phone shooter. We're here to help your photography grow. This is Photography Radio.
Hey, it's Karen Hutton, and welcome to The Woo. I call this Woo-episode Skills and Drills. See, anytime I want to learn something new, raise the bar on something I already know how to do, teach what I know, I can't help it. I think in drills. See, in my days as an athlete, drills were an everyday part of my life. They were as normal as drinking water. For the uninitiated, drills are repetitive training exercises that isolate a particular aspect from a total movement pattern in order to make said total movement pattern better. An athlete might need to be stronger, quicker, more flexible in some specific way, so the coach devises drills to isolate the weak link to make the overall skill better. For instance, as a runner, you might be a little slow getting out of the starting blocks. Your coach determines the reason is that you don't get your knees up quick enough, coming out of the blocks, snapping those knees up. So you're given drills that help you develop that quick snap. You might even go into the gym and do some exercises that help you get that thing going on. A figure skater might have sloppy forward takeoffs on jumps like axels. It's a very specific thing where you gotta push off one foot while you snap one knee in, and it all has to happen at the same moment so that you launch off the ice. Your coach devises some drills to strengthen that particular part of the takeoff. Or a skier might do repetitive turn drills to get better and more accurate in the loading and unloading of the ski for the maximum snap needed, say, for slalom racing. And all these drills are practiced away from competition, sometimes even off the ice, the court, the field, the mountain, whatever, with a very independent focus. If the drill does its job, the runner starts winning races because of their newly improved ability to get out of the blocks quick and accelerate like a mofo. The skater starts to launch off the ice a foot higher, and I have seen that, with a clean takeoff, more revolutions in the air. And the skier starts piling up the slalom race gold medals. And like anything, it's a little more complex in actual practice, but this gives you the idea. Now, photography. I never hear people talk about drills or skills in exactly the same way, and I think that's a mistake. I think there's a huge opportunity to tighten up your act in marvelous ways by considering much of what you do repetitively as drillable, especially if you're starting out or trying to get better. For instance, how quick and coordinated are you at switching lenses in the field? Can you do it in 3 moves without fumbling? Can you change lenses with the camera inside your camera bag without looking at it? Or let's say you use manual focusing. You could be street, it could be portraits, it could be landscape. Can you focus and or change your aperture setting without looking down? Do you know which way is which just through muscle memory alone? If you've been shooting in the shadow and the sun pops out all of a sudden, do you immediately know what settings to quickly change in order to get the same or similar exposure you were moments before? Or do you have to stop and think about it in the moment? Oh, missed the shot. Anything you have to do repetitively, assuredly, and kind of automatically, simply as part of your sport, is fair game for a drill. Here's some examples. Speed drills. So back in my acting days, we had to memorize scripts. But it was never enough just to learn a script. You had to know it inside and out so that it was second nature. It had to be unshakable by any amount of pressure or mistake from another actor or anything. Part of that ninja training was speed drills. Let's say you had this really emotional monologue. Speed drilling meant doing it double or triple time all the way through, but not just the words. You had to do it that fast with all the meaning and all the feeling intact. No shortcuts, full out, just in half or a third of the time. So that when you went back to regular time, you knew that piece. You weren't reaching for words. You knew the meaning, the feeling, and everything about it. It was there. It made your mind learn in a whole new way. How does something like this tie into photography? Well, at one point in my landscape work, I needed to get faster at setting up, tearing down, covering more ground, seeing what I was going to shoot, before I got to the spot. Sunsets during monsoon season here in Tahoe were what prompted me. These are the most incredible, very seasonal, booming landscapes of color you've ever seen, and they happen fast. The only thing stopping me from walking away with a whole book of images was my own coordination and speed. So I did speed drills for setup, for seeing, for settings, for which filters I wanted to use and how to coordinate myself to put them on and take them off. I had to break the overall activity or skill down to its component parts, drill those, then put it all back together into one big ninja flow. The results? Total woo. But the work to get there? Sweaty. Drills and skills, a lot of thought, a lot of practice goes into making anything look easy. Maybe you're still kind of new in landscape photography, and you might have to really think hard and experiment to get your settings right once, much less move to a new spot and do it all over again. So, work in your office or in your home, away from the landscape environment. Take away that pressure, take away all that, it's so beautiful. Just make it simple. Shoot in your house, in your room, 5 different areas, in 5 different lightings, and get 5 totally good images in 5 minutes. That's a drill. That's an accomplishable skill done in a drill format. Rinse and repeat. Do it over and over again till it's second nature. Then take that thing back out into nature and see how much easier it is. You have to make up these little scenarios and hurdles to get yourself through so that you have the muscle memory or actual muscles and skills to utilize out in the field or in the studio or wherever you shoot. Or how about this one? Selective seeing. Now, I know it might sound weird, but I think selective seeing is an important skill. I mean, people selectively hear all the time. Why shouldn't we use selective seeing as a superpower? For instance, a few years ago, I was given a project of shooting flower macros for the beta test of a macro lens. Now, I didn't have a lot of time, and I needed a lot of really good images. That meant going out into some beautiful landscapes in the spring that I just wanted to, just float around and just be there and enjoy it and take all kinds of photos because there were so many delicious options. But I had to focus only on the flower subjects for the projects. I needed to only see the light, the subject, and the kind of variety that would make the cut. Had I not done drills pretty much all of my life on selective seeing, like for instance, today I'm only going to shoot black and white. Today I'm using a 1.4 aperture. Today every landscape has to have a person in it. Some sort of drill that makes yourself accountable to some kind of result. This whole macro shoot thing would have gone a whole different way other than what it was, which was really fun and super productive. But thank God I had done the selective seeing drill just as part of my thing up until that point. So, figure out where your weak point is. Figure out where you can be better. Is your weak point fumbling with gear, changing settings? Or is it more inner game stuff like shifting gears from being stressed, running 1,000,000 miles an hour to being relaxed and focused? Whatever it is, I bet devising a few drills that isolate that one weak link will help your overall performance immeasurably. Being all woo and making it look easy? Oh yeah, it takes hours and years and sometimes a lifetime of practicing, honing, and yes, doing drills. So I hope this gives you a little food for thought, and I'd love to hear your feedback, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time on The Woo.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hit subscribe on your podcast app. It would mean a lot for us to have you as our regular listener. Head over to photographyradio.com to drop your suggestion for future editions of Photography Radio or simply to say hello. We would absolutely love to hear from you. In the meantime, have a wonderful night and we will be back with more photography in your ears very soon.